It's happening. Eric Trump says the unbelievable. And that means buy Bitcoin now, fill your bags. Now the big players want to pump up the Bitcoin price. That's unbelievable. It looks like the bags are filled now. And now comes the second stage, to pump the Bitcoin price up here. He says it's a good time to get into Bitcoin now. And that's not all, because not only does Eric Trump want to pump up the Bitcoin price, Donald Trump also wants to launch a new Bitcoin ETF. It's breaking news here. Trump Media is registering brands for the TrueFi investment vehicle, including TrueFi, Bitcoin Plus ETF, and Bitcoin Plus SMA. So, he's securing the brands for potential Bitcoin ETFs that Donald Trump also wants to launch with his TrueFi platform. I mean, how bullish is that? We have the biggest players here, the top players, the most powerful people, Larry Fink, Donald Trump, Eric Trump, and so on. They're all pumping up the Bitcoin price now. The big bags are full. The bags are getting fuller, and it looks like they're full enough. And now that stage 1 is complete. Stage 1 means accumulation. We're filling our bags. Stage 2 means we're pumping the whole thing up. We're putting it out there. We're officially saying, hey, I have enough Bitcoin now. Now please get into Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, and pump my bags up. In the report about the potential ETFs that are supposed to come from Donald Trump now, it even says here in a statement about it, they want to offer investments that provide a competitive alternative to woke-oriented funds and issues with debanking. So how crazy is that? Bitcoin is now the solution for the woke problem and for debanking. And this is really, really important that we take a close look at this now, because you really have to pay close attention here. What's going on here right now? If you sleep on this, you could miss out on the biggest money revolution of all time. You don't want to miss the party because it looks like the party is about to kick off. Although the Bitcoin price, to be honest, is still just chilling a bit. So the Bitcoin price hasn't really reacted to that at all. Of course, today it is somewhat positive, slightly in the plus, and so on. Of course, I've kind of exaggerated everything here. I don't know if they really want to pump the Bitcoin price here. They want to pump it, but it really looks like that's the case. There are so many signs that Donald Trump and Eric Trump want to pump up the Bitcoin price. They're talking about it too. They talked about a Bitcoin price of $150,000. Eric Trump is talking about a $1 million Bitcoin price. They already have the price targets in mind. We also know that for Donald Trump, this could potentially be a success marker for his policies. The Bitcoin price and the stock market here in the US are definitely catching interest. And we can also see it in the regulations with the wealth fund. Stockpiles, that's where things are being evaluated and so on. That means we have so many trends. And now, of course, it's my claim that they want to pump the Bitcoin price up, and that it's now moving into the second stage. So the first stage is the accumulation stage, and the second stage is when you start to put it out there. It's the same with the US or something like that. It's really, really bad or very, very tactical. It's not smart to say, okay, hey, we're buying Bitcoin when we haven't even filled our pockets yet. So first, you fill your pockets, and once your pockets are full, then you move on. The next step is to announce the whole thing, and then you say, hey, folks, we've filled our pockets, and now please, buy Bitcoin. I have a whole lot of Bitcoin. Then you make your portfolio public or make some big Bitcoin statements. That's just how it goes with the big players. First, fill your pockets, then make the announcement, and then pump the price up, and then you cash out. Or you just enjoy the profits. So, but now check this out. Here, Eric Trump says, feels like a great time to enter Bitcoin. So, it's a really, really good time to get into Bitcoin right now. And it's pretty crazy that we're seeing comments like this from Eric Trump or other big personalities. Here, you can also see all the comments below. This is Eric Weil, the one who just got Michael Saylor on board. Of course, it's always a good time to buy Bitcoin. Michael Saylor says there's no better time than now to buy Bitcoin. The other people are all saying, hey, congrats. So, there are a ton of people here who are in the Bitcoin to the Moon Club, just wanting to trigger the Valhalla candle and pump Bitcoin massively right now. But we have to be honest, it's not really working yet. We're not seeing the absolute explosion yet. We're not seeing the absolute euphoria yet. I don't really get it either. People, either you're blind or you're doing other things, are not dealing with Bitcoin. A lot of people are really missing out on what's going on right now. They're missing out on the things happening in the background. They're even missing out on announcements like these, that even big players want to pump the price up now. And some people are saying, of course, that all of this is already top signals that Donald Trump is calling out here. We want to create a Bitcoin ETF. Eric Trump says, okay, hey, buy Bitcoin. It's a good time to get into Bitcoin. I don't see the top signal here yet because the retail FOMO isn't even there. But I can totally understand it. When people are skeptical here too, you have to look at it very, very critically. So, that's one side of it. That people are saying, hey, awesome, our bags are being pumped up. But the critical side is that we now have some state leaders here. Big players, BlackRock, Trump, and so on, who of course have their own agendas, have influence. Then the voices come out again saying, yeah, Bitcoin has been taken over by some big players, and Bitcoin has lost its decentralization. But that's just not true, because Bitcoin is still decentralized. And actually, it's even a positive sign that it's not pumping the Bitcoin price up like that, because otherwise, people will come back and say Elon Musk would pump the Bitcoin price up. And he managed to do that back then with Tesla. By now, you can see it, the brands are so high. And people are a bit tired of such announcements, because by now, there have been so many announcements. You can see that an Eric Trump or a Donald Trump can't just pump the Bitcoin price up so easily anymore. And that's why it's actually a good thing if the Bitcoin price doesn't react too much. Because then Bitcoin isn't so vulnerable in the end. Bitcoin is, in any case, not vulnerable. But then at least all the nonsense talkers can't say Donald Trump is influencing the Bitcoin price and stuff. You can see that Eric Trump and Donald Trump aren't really pulling it off. They might be able to pull it off a little. I mean, if an announcement like that were to come now. Okay, if the USA buys 1 million Bitcoin, that would definitely have an impact. But we see that the big players have less and less influence, and more extreme things have to happen. In the past, that would have massively influenced the Bitcoin price. By now, I don't know, there just has to be an announcement from the USA. Hey, we just bought 1 million Bitcoin or something like that, so the Bitcoin price would go up. Guys, watch out, check out these cool ones. Show me your gun, come here. Look, pull the gun in here. Let me get a little closer. Check it out, how cool. What are you doing with the gun? Are you defending us from the gangsters in El Salvador? Maybe. And look, there's a sniper up there. Here. Shoot. So, we're definitely doing really, really well. Because a lot of people are always a bit scared in El Salvador, wondering if I'm doing okay here. And crime, and stuff. But I can guarantee you, first of all, I have personal security here. And secondly, El Salvador is probably safer now. So, you really don't need to be scared here at all. You can see it back there. Security, everywhere you look. But what shocked me even more, like the Eric Trump story, this message was actually here. So, it really blew my mind. Breaking news, Donald Trump TrueFi reports. Investment vehicles for TrueFi Bitcoin plus ETFs. And this is really a huge, huge story that very, very few people are currently aware of. And here, various investors would now be registered. Here, TrueFi in America ETF, a whole bunch of different ones. And underneath that, there are also 2 products here, or 2 products, not 2 ETF products. Bitcoin plus ETF and a Bitcoin plus SMA. And here, it should also be mentioned that this is basically just a brand that is registered here. So, as I understand it, there hasn't been an ETF or anything launched here yet, but it could launch in the next step. Those are currently just the brands. There's also an official file. Let me show you. There is an official file here which ultimately describes everything here. What this is all about. And there are really some very, very interesting statements in this official file. Here it basically says, TMTG is rapidly pushing forward plans to introduce ETFs and SMAs with an America First theme. So they confirm here they have the plans, but the ETF hasn't been launched yet, of course. But these are basically the plans. And here, the plans are now being revealed. Here it says, for example, Trump Media, a technology group, operator of the social media platform Truth Social and the video streaming platform Trump Plus, announces today that the company has registered brands for the introduction of its adjusted exchange-traded funds, ATFs, and individually managed separate accounts, SMAs, have been registered since this year. So, those are basically already registrations that have already taken place. And now it gets interesting. The investors will be part of the new TrueFi brand, covering financial services and financial technology. So, this is basically just expanding the product range from first here by Donald Trump. The launch of TrueFi is part of TMTG's financial services and fintech strategy, with investments of up to $250 million US. So, that's a pretty hefty amount being thrown in here. Bitcoin won't soar. It will rise. 250 million is pretty cool, but it wouldn't shoot Bitcoin off to Valhalla. Or something like that. But hey, the signal is already very, very good that Donald Trump is officially betting his first on Bitcoin. And this is the crucial part. Here we have an official statement. Here it says, TMTG CEO and Chairman Devin Nunes says, and now pay close attention. Our goal is to give investors a way to invest in American energy production and other companies. That offers a competitive alternative to funds oriented towards and issues with debanking. Give it a shot this time. I would basically say, okay, all the regular ETFs and stuff, that's all woke, that's all here. Can be expropriated. Oh. We're being attacked. But you're defending me. So, you see the people back there, they're defending me. Look, full war scenario. Who's attacking? Yeah, I think the clouds. People are attacking. At least that's how it looks here. It says further in this statement. Now I need to see where we are. So, we're looking into a variety of ways to differentiate our products, including strategies related to Bitcoin. So here, we're definitely not talking about a strategy, but strategies. There are several ways to include Bitcoin here. With ETFs, you don't know what other options there are. And Bitcoin is probably going to be a solution for the debanking issue here. Bitcoin is definitely a solution for the Vogue problem here, which is also a really, really big issue. Go Vogue, go Pro. All these people are catching the Vogue virus. They're going bankrupt one after another here. It goes on to say, we will continue to work on refining our optimal offering for investors who believe in the principles of America first. And now it gets really, really interesting because a lot of people have been asking. For example, it meant that in the stockpile, there definitely need to be some currencies or cryptocurrencies included. Should be included from America because America is supposed to be pushed. But the way it looks right now, is Bitcoin seen as an America first vehicle? So, people have been asking, okay, does Bitcoin count as an American investment and so on? But as it comes out from the statement here, I mean, you can't really equate that with the stockpile. Those are two different things. One is a company, the other is officially from the statesman somehow related to the stockpile. But Trump definitely has a connection here. Trump is kind of the connector between the two. And it clearly states here, hey, Bitcoin is an American vehicle here. At least Bitcoin is listed under the whole thing here. And then there's America first and the flag too. And in the end, Bitcoin is also listed there. So that means this is also a very, very important insight that you can take from this ETF launch. And now something really crazy is happening that I haven't even touched on yet. I need to quickly lift this up here. Here it says, well, at Bloomberg, this is really something else. Here it says US Treasury bonds. Basically, Scott Bassett says here, Trump wants lower interest rates and is focused on the 10-year Treasury. So, he wants lower interest rates and is focusing on the 10-year Treasuries. That means you can easily manipulate the short-term interest rates just by changing the key interest rate. If you want to change the 10-year interest rates, you usually have to do it through Treasury purchases. So, for example, buying up Treasuries through QE programs and so on. If you can't easily influence the long-term interest rate, then you have to trade more on the markets. And either you make your bonds more attractive so that more people buy them on the open market, or you just do QE, quantitative easing. You buy up a ton of treasuries from the ECB, not from the ECB, but from the Federal Reserve. And that would massively pump up the money supply. That would strengthen Bitcoin because the dollar is being weakened. That may also be what Donald Trump wants to do something. He definitely wants a lot of liquidity, from what I understand. Pump it into the markets. Jerome Powell still has inflation on his mind. Jerome Powell will defend the whole thing. He says, no, 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 Trump, we need to chill. We have to keep an eye on inflation. Donald Trump would probably love to get rid of Jerome Powell. I'd say, HEY, NO, lower the interest rates, complete liquidity. Pump up the stock markets, pump up Bitcoin, pump everything up, screw inflation. We want the economy to move forward here. We want the US to become the new economic metropolis. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe we're not looking at the long term either. If the dollar goes down, maybe we also have Bitcoin up our sleeve. Maybe that's the idea. That exists too. The dollar Bitcoin theory from Mark and Goodwin, that the dollar is supposed to be reinflated into Bitcoin. I don't know. Feel free to drop your opinions down below. But in the end, that's the crazy situation that's currently going on here. And now I have one important final announcement for you. And there are just 2 days left until the launch of Bitcoin Advantage. Then the waiting list closes here too. That means time is really ticking now. The waiting list closes tomorrow evening. Anyone who wants to be part of this should quickly sign up in the Telegram group below, so that you can be here on the 8th. You can also be part of the launch of Bitcoin Advantage in February during the live call. We'll see each other later in the group. There are really wild discussions happening here, kindly. And if you want to buy some Bitcoin, put a link down below. 21 Bitcoin, how you can easily, safely, and simply buy Bitcoin. Here you can still get up to 20% off the fees when buying Bitcoin with the code Bitcoin. Let's fucking go. See you later. Peace out.